because in a few minutes, the event will proceed in no time. Good afternoon, the Honorable Professor Dr. Sriwardani MSI, as a coordinator of Primary Education Master Study Program, the Honorable Mrs. Yuli Kurniawati, SP, SPC, MA, PhD, as a coordinator of EC Master Study Program, invited speaker, distinguished guests, and all participants. Welcome to the webinar in theme Gender Issues on Children's Rights in the Education Setting. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Indonesia. All participants are requested to stand up. Thank you. You may return to your seat. To welcome all distinguished guests and all participants, it is now to welcome all participants, it is now an honor for me to invite Mrs. Yuli Kurniawati, SP, SPC, MA, PhD, to open our webinar as the chairman of the committee. The time is yours, Mrs.
Okay, thank you, Lan. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And the honorable speaker, Professor Naciye from Gazi University, Turkey. Thank you very much for your coming. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome you to the webinar with the theme Gender Issues on Children's Rights in the Education Setting. Today, in total, more than 150 participants have joined this webinar. They are from bachelor students, master students, teachers, and lecturers. For your information, this webinar is free and hosted by Early Childhood Education Department and Primary Education Department, Graduate School, Semarang State University. Professor Naciye, we have also Professor Wardani here. She is the head of Primary Education Department. Please welcome Professor Wardani.
Thank you.
Yeah. This afternoon, Professor Naciye will share about her research regarding the today's topic. This webinar, such as provide a valuable opportunity for children practitioners, educators, and teachers, also researchers and academics, as well as policymakers, to learn and share their idea, knowledge, research, and practices. I'm grateful to the only one expert here, Professor Naciye, who will share her knowledge today. And also, I'm sure we will have a fruitful and rewarding exchange in the next few minutes. I wish you all every success with this important webinar, and I look forward to learning about the outcome. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, ma'am. And now,
Welcome.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the opening ceremony. And this is the very moment that we have been waiting for. It is a seminar session. The seminar session will be from the honorable speaker, Prof. Naciye Aksoy from Gazi University, Turkey. She is from Department of Primary Education. Correct me if I'm wrong, Prof.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and before starting the discussion with Prof. Naciye, let me invite Mrs. Yuli Kurniawati, SPSPC MA PhD, as the chairman of the committee to give a virtual certificate of this seminar to Prof. Naciye. The time is yours.
Okay, Professor Naciye, please accept the virtual appreciation for your talks today. Okay.
It's my honor, thank you very much. You are so kind, you are so welcomed. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for some information, I would like to give some rules during seminar so that it will go well. For our participant, please don't be hesitant to write your questions for our speaker by chat in this room or directly raise hand and have to on camera when you have some questions. And during the speaker share the material, please, we hope all of participants turn off the sound and turn on camera too. And for Prof. Naciye Aksoy, we give you 30 minutes and feel free to continue your explanation. And then the left is for only Q&A.
Okay.
Maybe the time is yours, Prof. Naciye, to share your
Thank you very much, Aziza.
Yeah.
I hope I can use my time effectively, but little bit maybe, exceed the time. Forgive me for this at the beginning of the, my talk. Hello to all participants. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to and gratitude to Dr. Yuli Kurniawati Seguyo Pronato, am I correct? Or Universitas Negeri Semarang for inviting me to this meeting. I also greet all participants with respect. I would like to give a brief information about myself, and as Aziza said, I'm a faculty member at Gazi University, Faculty of Education, Department of Primary Education. I carry out studies on classroom management, children's rights, and qualitative research. Thanks to technology that removes the boundaries of time and space. So we are now able to hold meetings between Indonesia and Turkey. There are those who do not know each other, as well as those who know each other on this digital platform. I will talk about a little bit about my, thoughts and when a person enters the environment that he or she does not know and is not a part of it, experiences a feeling of uneasiness and insecurity because one doesn't know what to expect and what awaits for him or her. It's a very natural human, emotion anyway. However, I accepted Dr. Yuli's invitation without hesitation. So I did not experience a feeling of uneasiness and insecurity. What made me accept it without hesitation was the concept of child and rights. Today we will talk about the gender issues on children's rights. Can I share my PowerPoint? Okay.
Sure.
I have right this. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let me
Okay.
go to the first slide. Yeah, we will talk about gender issues on children's rights, especially in educational settings. Since the title of my presentation is Children's Rights and Gender, I will try to establish the connection between children's rights and women's rights first, and then connect it to education settings. Also, I will talk about the study we have done on this subject, as we talked before Dr. Yuli. Let me change my slide. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, shortly CRC, and the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, shortly CEDAW, should be considered together to establish the connection between the concept of gender and rights. CEDAW defines the rights of women to be free from all forms of discrimination and lays down the basic principles for the protection of this right. It also lays the foundation for an agenda to end discrimination and also for achieving equality between women and men. It does this by affirming women's equal access and equal opportunity to education, health, employment, as well as to political and public life. Certain rights are specific to children. As with women, or rights need to be reinterpreted in the case of children. These rights are addressed in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. It is the best known convention in the world, and it's signed by many countries. CRC explains the fundamental rights of children around the world, for children all over the world. The rights to life, the right to development, the right to be protected from harmful practices, abuse and exploitation, to participate fully, in family, cultural and social life. When we consider these two conventions together, we see that both enrich the provision and protection of gender equality in various aspects, in family life, in daily life, in professional life. In many cases, protecting women's rights, ensuring children's rights, or vice versa, protecting children's rights is important for ensuring women's rights. Because the two conventions are both, mutually reinforcing and complementary. The conventions protect the rights of girls and women throughout their life cycle. Specific to the age, 0 to 18 age group, the CRC provides provision to ensure that rights apply equally to boys and girls, and provides women with certain protections, such as pre- and postnatal care, education on the advantages of breastfeeding, and family planning education and services. CEDAW is not an age-specific, but both conventions provide protection for children and women in the private sphere and prioritize the best interest of the child. In addition, both conventions prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex and implicitly call for special temporary measures to ensure tangible equality, such as affirmative action policies and preferential access to education for girls. The lives of women and children are as closely intertwined as their rights. Both women and children are exposed to discrimination, so these experiences are very common among women and girls. For example, according to data in Turkey, very recent data, men killed 284 women and 26 children and abused 265 children in 2020. Actually, historically, women have been the primary caregivers of children. As can be seen, discrimination against women harms not only women themselves, but also future generations. The protection of human rights is important in itself. Also, protecting the rights of children, especially the girls, is the first step towards promoting gender equality for women. Gender equality means that an individual is not discriminated against because of their gender in using opportunities, allocating and using resources, accessing and benefiting from services, all kinds of services, health services, education services, transportation services. The principle of equality is guaranteed in contracts and laws. However, in practice, we can see that there are situations to detriments of girls. Again, I will give some statistic from the UNICEF data. According to UNICEF data, it is very short, very short before. 1/3 of women aged 20 and 24 worldwide were married before the age of 18. 1/3 of them did not turn 15 when they got married. Every 10 minutes, somewhere in the world, maybe in Indonesia, maybe in Turkey, maybe in China, maybe in Germany, adolescent girls dies as a result of violence. Gender-based violence causes girls to be more exposed to sexual and physical violence, child marriage, abuse, and trafficking during emergencies. Girls are 2.5 times more out of school than boys during wars, which narrows their outlook for the future and prevents them from achieving economic freedom as adults. In order to draw attention to inequalities, girls to raise awareness of gender inequalities, faced by girls all over the world, to prevent discrimination against girls as a result of initiatives by Turkey, Canada, and Peru, and to ensure that girls fully and effectively enjoy their human rights. October 11, the last month, October 11 was recognized as the International Day of the Girl Child by the United Nations. 2011. International Day of the Girl is celebrated on October 11 every year. But there is still a need to raise awareness about the issues affecting the lives of girls all over the world on the path to gender equality. In order to eliminate all kinds of discrimination against women and girls, it is necessary to identify the factors that reinforce discrimination by intertwining with each other. Gender discrimination begins in infancy and even in the womb. Maybe you were asked, and if you have a child, you were asked already these questions. Perhaps the first question asked about a newborn baby is whether the baby is a boy or, a girl. The answer to this question corresponds to the biological sex of the child at the first moment. But the answer given these questions of what the baby's sex is also corresponds to the gender that shapes how she or he will be treated in the future. the games she, he will play, the colors she, he will wear or use, you know, the roles she or he will assume, her, his, you know, self-perception, her or his success and profession. Gender refers to social, cultural, and psychological characteristics attributed to roles and behaviors determined by social norms, you know, constructed and learned in certain social context, and considered appropriate for men, appropriate for women. Gender differences are the differences observed among people, you know, in terms of the characteristics learned and acquired during the socialization process. It means gender is the categorization of one's own species, you know, such as race, creed, or opinions. These category-based perception have the power to shape our behavior and reactions. Most of you know that teaching of gender roles to children is provided from the family and social environment, as well as from mass media, such as advertisement, television, newspaper, magazines, song lyrics, you know, children's stories, fairy tales, textbooks, and so on. Gender stereotypes, roles in educational environment can manifest themselves in teacher, let me share my other slide, in teacher-student interaction, in the classroom environment, or in teaching materials. Studies, both done in Turkey and other part of the world, have showed that teachers consciously or unconsciously maintain stereotype roles regarding gender roles in the classroom. Of course, teachers' beliefs and expectations about gender roles affect children behaviors, because teachers are, you know, role model and authority figure, are in a very, you know, critical position. Teachers' definition of, you know, good students, skills and success, expectations, discipline methods vary in relation to gender of the students. Such expectations and attitudes as part of the teacher's classroom management strategy can create different areas of responsibility. For example, assigning female students to clean and order the classroom, and also create competitive environments, such as highlighting male students in science and mathematics lessons, and also teaching method polarize boys and girls. It means that different expectations of teachers from male and female students can, you know, put or place both girls and boys at a disadvantage. For example, in the context of the definition of good student, girls are constructed as ideal student, while boys are defined as problem makers. Maybe same situation is, you know, you see in Indonesia. We see in Turkey that boys are problem makers and girls are usually defined as good students. However, since teachers often direct the lesson with the disruptive behaviors and attitudes of male students, they receive more of the teacher attention. And this attention, this situation is turned into an advantage in terms of male students' exam performances. We never thought about it. We never figured about it. But here in this situation, male students or boys are earning, you know, teacher love and attention. Teacher or all educators, like principals and other workers, maybe counselors, implicitly or overtly show sexist behavior in school settings. For example, interfering with appearance and dressing. In Turkey, the teacher usually interfere with appearance and dressing. We have some dress code and for hair, appearance or clothing. Also, teacher give less word to girls in discussions. They do this unconsciously. They ignore girls' questions. Research show these situations. Also, segregate the course content by gender. Not placing boys and girls together or seat boys and girls together. Assigning school and class presidential, duties more to male students and so on. As you see, as an educators, we do this consciously or unconsciously. In addition to these attitudes, behaviors, beliefs and discourses of educators, textbooks also have an important function in gender equality or inequality. Textbooks are central and indispensable materials in educational systems. Textbooks, contribute to social construction through the information they include or exclude. In Turkey, textbooks generally distinguish between men and women on the basis of gender stereotypes. I don't know in Indonesia how the textbook is, holds men and women or place men and women. In the textbooks, maybe you see from the screen that in the textbook, it is definition of woman in private sphere and housework, and the man in the public sphere with a job that earns money and provides for his family. So I would like to give an example, so much so that Working Woman's Daily Plan in the Business Education and Home Economics book included the curriculum in 2012 and 2013 academic year is to get up at 6 a.m. In the morning, early morning, to prepare breakfast until 36, to clean kitchen, to iron, to prepare the children for school, to be at work between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is defined as resting between 6:30 to 9 p.m. And then preparing the table, cleaning the house, cooking the next evening meals. It is from the Yurtsever study. In the 2018, maybe 5 or 6 years later, a study is done by Ara Temur in the 2018 second grade life sciences book. As you see in the picture, there is gender discrimination in the division of labor within the family. On the page 69 of the book, the mother says she's preparing the table, and on page 77, she is preparing the meal. In these images, it is always the girls who help the mothers. In the book, there is the idea that kitchen work is the duty of women in the theme of life in our house. Gender discrimination is even in mathematics textbooks. In the problems, it is men who fill the pool or baskets and drive the car and train, while the women are in the secondary role. And again, we kept continue. Children literature, sometimes teacher suggests students to read, to gain reading habits. Children literature also provides in parallel with these stereotypes, like in textbooks. Male heroes always solve serious problems, while women are endowed with typical weaknesses. This is great consistency in the types of women here. Almost all of them are oppressed due to their characteristics, such as victims of violence, like Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood, and they are poor, like Cinderella, Match Girl, Red's Shoes, and they are abandoned. On the other hand, male heroes save the female characters by kissing, fighting the enemy. And also, it is interesting that old women in fairy tales are often described as witches, evil, or stepmothers. Although rare, women who are defined as heroes lack feminine characteristics. While the woman is the value contractor, the man is the value adder, the life giver. Boys can identify with many different heroes, so they can be more courageous in daily life. Again, girls, on the other hand, face the most shocking traumas of life. But despite this victimization, they are defined by, moral perfection, delicacy, and grace. All of these are materials of spreading gender, ideology to our children, on educational settings from kindergarten to, graduate level. As we can see, these studies and determinations regarding these studies or research, gender inequality have always been made, indirectly, without asking children. However, as I mentioned at the beginning of the most fundamental rights of, children is the right to participate, as stated in the CRC. Considering participation rights of children, accepting them as the subject rather than the object of the research, we concluded, we have done a research together with my colleagues Özge Nurlu Üstün and Ülkü Çoban Sural. Now, at this moment, related with the beginning talk, I would like to share our research results that focuses on children perception on gender issues regarding children's rights from the perspective of children's. Betchel, do I have enough time?
Yes, you may
Okay.
continue.
Okay. In our research, we asked fourth grade students two questions. Actually, our research title is Gender Perception of the Primary School Fourth Graders Regarding Children's Rights. I'm sharing this research because the data collection way is different than other research. Maybe it helps you think another or this kind of research in the future. You may do research about this subject. We had two questions. What are the perception of fourth grade primary school students toward gender equality and, maybe we can read it inequality based on children's rights, and whether their perception changes according to their sex. We designed our research very simple. We used descriptive simple survey model, and we inspired from a book. Maybe in Indonesia, that books translated to Indonesian language. Also, let me say about our sample. The study group of our research was comprised of a total of 574 grade students. We choose fourth graders on the grounds that they would complete the surveys more comfortably and consciously since the rights matter were included in this study. That fourth graders attend also to the social sciences and human rights, citizenship and democracy courses, and that their reading, writing, and comprehension skills were more developed compared to the other grade levels. And our, data collection instrument, and I will talk about the procedure. We developed the data collection tool upon inspiration from the books, namely the Declaration of Girls and the Declaration of Boys' Rights. It is translated to Turkish. That books were written for children, but addressed to people from any age. Maybe you are interested in. The rights provided in clauses in both of the books. For example, similar to boys, the girls also have the right to have their hair cut very short. We were transformed these, sentences into survey items, like who has the right to have her or his hair cut very short. And we provided them three options, namely just for girls' right, just for boys' right, and both girls and boys' rights. Boys' rights. We analyzed, our data using frequency, percentage, and chi-square to compare by their sex. And let me talk about a little bit what we found in our research. It's interesting, and we saw that in general, children hold gender ideas in very young, in very young ages. We found that the perception of fourth graders as regards the right to playing with marbles, significantly differ by sex, and that considering the percentages, the girls had a more egalitarian attitude compared to boys. Also, it was remarkable that there was an agreement that the right to playing with toy plane, as you see on the picture, was perceived on the boys' right. It's interesting, but on the other hand, playing computer, playing skipping rope, and climbing to trees were highly seen as a right by both sexes. We're playing at house game. Some people's be a mother and others be mother, house game, and with those were highly seen as a right of yours. And playing with toy cars was highly seen that of boys, as it is expected. Regarding the right to clothing and experience, rights to have their hair cut very short, grow hair, and keep a ponytail significantly differed in statistical terms, and that the boys held more sexist attitude towards the foregoing rights, and they said only girls has a right to have a ponytail. And the perception, students also think that this is very remarkable also, think that wearing blue was more of a right of boys, and wearing pink was that of girls. They start at the women's womb before they born. We got a gift for pink color for girls and blue colors for boys. It's not a surprise result. What about, occupation choices, what they think? The perception of the fourth grade students in terms of to become a surgeon and a secondary school teacher significantly differed, by their sex. Girls adopted a more, egalitarian attitude towards both rights. Perceptions as regards fashion model and sculpture professions were significantly differed by sex. Becoming a fashion model was seen more of a right of girls, because of television and other social media, although fashion figures are, mostly women characters. Becoming a sculptor was seen as a right of both sexes. Students stated that becoming an astronaut, a public prosecutor, judge, and a police officer was highly a right for both sexes. It's maybe, in a big city, capital city, and these children see the occupations done by, both sexes, women and, men. However, there was a high level of agreement as regards that becoming a truck driver, it is unusual occupation, was a right of boys. Where becoming a nurse, this is usual, or babysitter was that of girls' right. Furthermore, while becoming a dancer or nursery school teacher, Dr. Yuli, that was seen as a right for both sexes. It's interesting. But there was also an agreement that performing such profession was mostly a right of girls. They see that both sex can have these jobs, but mostly seen as a right of girls. And daily activities, it's maybe every of us, must know these activities and skills to survive. And regarding daily activities, perception regarding the rights to know how to wash dishes and iron significantly differed by sex. And that such right was mostly attributed to girls. These young children, see their mothers in house, at home, also from other social contexts. Considering the ratio, it was seen that the boys held a more sexist attitude in this context. There was a high level of agreement as regards the fact that repairing and driving nails were a right for boys. This is not surprised also. Where to know how to sew, knit was that of girls. Although knowing how to cook was seen as an equal right for both sexes, but there's a more intensive agreement as regards given that girls were entitled to that rights. In at house, always, in Turkey context, mothers, cook dinner and prepare breakfast. And about the activities, there were significantly differences by sex as regards the students' perception of rights to learn how to shoot arrows, play football, and read adventure stories. Although boys held a more sexist attitude towards the three items, in general, it was considered that shooting arrows and reading adventure stories was an equal right, where playing football was a right of boys. In Turkey, television after main news, television, maybe all channels shows a football match, only men's sport, like men's sport. We don't see women's sports team on televisions. Success in mathematics, acting naughty, playing chess, weeping for being affected while watching a film, favoring detective stories and horror films, success in literacy and reading poems were seen as an equal right by the students, thanks God. However, the ballet was seen as a particular right for girls, and where boxing is for boys. And the results of this study suggested, inconsistent with the results of other studies, that the primary school 4th grade students had explicit stereotypical approaches in many fields, including profession, plays, toys, colors, daily life skills, and academic success, art, and sports. And so what we suggest, what we recommend, not only the Turkish educators, Turkish families, Turkey bureaucrats and politicians, we also suggest for every woman and man in all over the world. Similar to racial, linguistic, religious, and economic fields, the establishment of a structure towards equal gender in society definitely requires questioning the political, legal, and religious and cultural power structures, and transformation from which is asymmetrical to which is equal. As per the principle of equality in democracies, the essential responsibility of such transformation belongs to the state. Therefore, it is expected from the state to implement laws for equal gender in each field of life. Our study found that primary school 4th grade students had explicit stereotypical approaches in many fields, as I said before, in profession to plays, as it is commonly observed in our society. These students adopt the sexist perspective at early ages, yet they can also change such sexist tendencies, toward an egalitarian direction. In order for that change is ensured, the policies, plans, and programs toward removing all kinds of sexist elements and practices from the context and conduct, programs, books, teacher behaviors, spaces, activities of education, and play an important place in children's lives, and is performed under supervision and control of the state, should be implemented again by the state. Naturally, it is most likely that there will be a resistance based on, religious, cultural grounds in the process of policies, plans, and programs, and that will establish equality of gender in daily life and educational environment. It is of utmost importance that the awareness of all educational employees in the field of education, the role models of children as regards equal gender, is raised before the children. As a social entity, the child becomes a member of other social system, such as school, neighbor, peers, group, associations, and laws, other than their family as their age increases. Given that all the environments involving the children respect for human rights and freedoms and protect such rights and freedoms, hold an important place in learning and development of equality of gender. Therefore, the most important contribution any relevant adult can offer to a child is to create an environment which will respect the child only as a human being without regard to her or his sex. This is my last word. Thank you very much for your patience. I hope it was clear and understandable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. It's a really, really insightful presentation, Prof. Naciye. Especially for me, it's really made me to realize that until now, I'm still plotting the right choices between women and men. And I think I have to change that perceptions. We really have to break down gender stereotype.
But that, Aziza, actually, in our mind, deeper mind, or in, unconsciously we do that. It's very, very natural, it is hard to deal with this, deeper mind and conscience. But we have to struggle everywhere. We have to struggle
we really have to break down
for the future of our children.
Okay, for your information, now the participant reached 222, Prof. Naciye.
Really, it's so good.
And now we open Q&A for our participant. If you have a questions, you can write by chat in this room or chat us privately or just directly raise hand and on your camera and directly you can ask to Prof. Naciye.
Okay, thank you, Ulan. Maybe the first opportunity will be mine. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Naciye, for your insightful experience from your research. And yeah, you have shared about how gender stereotype shaped by educators, parents, society, something like that. And yes, it may also happens here in Indonesia. Yeah, your research involve children as active participants, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, children report what their perceptions towards gender. Yeah, and my questions is it possible to explore these issues on younger children, maybe 6 or 7 years old children? When it is possible, what kind of collecting data tools or way you may suggest to us? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. It's a good question. Actually, we as researchers, we think that younger children, and doesn't know what to say, what to think. But I think it is wrong. Even a baby, think good things for him or herself. There are other ways to collect data, search the children ideas about gender. Actually, with my doctoral students, Özge Nurlu, in her doctoral thesis, we want children to draw pictures. Picturing is a good way to explore children's gender, ideas. And then we analyze that pictures. Also talking, as a qualitative way, talking about with younger children, ages between actually not 5 to 7, actually 4 on 3 years old, who done, we can ask them who cook meals and who's skip rope. If we ask them by their languages, they can understand. Maybe they give us a very short answer. We don't want a short answer as researchers, but if when we play with them and gain their trust, I believe that they share their ideas about gender issues, because they after a baby born, they observe environment, every moment, every maybe skills and men's, and actually observe nature. They see even other than people, they see animals, cats and dogs and other animals, family life. In early ages they play family games, as I said before. Some are holding the role of doctor and nurse, and we can observe also, other than talk, we can observe their play, a natural play in a natural environment, and we find clues for gender ideas of the young people.
Well, thank you for your insightful suggestions, and then I will try to prepare all the tools and start the research. I think maybe next year.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah, it's very interesting to explore how children's perceptions about their rights, starting from their early age. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay. I didn't catch your question. Could you please repeat again?
I think your explanations already answer my question as very very clear. I'm asking about how to collect data with the younger children, and you mentioned about talking, pictures, and also interview sessions, maybe with a qualitative approach. I think it's the best approach for for involving younger children in this kind of research.
Okay. Also, I suggest, I didn't have done any action research, but in children, between 0 to 18 age, the laws accept people as children, and in high school or middle school or primary school, we can also do action research, to get their ideas, keeping notes, daily plans and their ideas, maybe in a project. Action method is action research is a very active method, and participate all children and teacher and related people. Maybe action research is a good way to get ideas of older children in educational context.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Other
back
questions?
to you, Gula.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Yuli. And now there is one question chat privately with me. Okay. From Sri Suryaningsih. She wanna ask, okay, how good afternoon, Prof. Naciye. I am Sri Suryaningsih from Graduate School UNES. I want to ask how to change the environment, especially in the classroom, so that it can overcome this gender stereotype, because sometimes in the class still have inequalities, such as only boys who can become head class president, head class, or when have a cleaning time, it usually the girls who work it.
Okay.
Relate. It's really relate. How to change the environment in the classroom?
The question is about how can we change the classroom environment?
Yes.
Okay. But the first thing is that as a teacher or as an educators, we have to be aware of our behavior, attitudes, and maybe discourses. But we have to think about gender. If we don't think about gender, inequalities, we can't change anything. Think and be conscious. What I am doing, am I correct? And where I am standing, equality or inequality, what I am supporting, for the future of students. I mean, the first thing is being aware of, and then getting unconscious thing to consciousness. We have to do with consciously whatever we do in the classroom, and think about every suggestions and every decisions in the classroom. I mean, otherwise, sitting together, sharing together, playing together, and not creating a competitive environment with boys and girls. And sometimes, we can give a role to boys to clean environment, and be presidential duties to girls. And every time, one boy, one girl, one boy, one girl, we can, be a role model for our students also. Because we are in a very crucial situations. They see our behaviors, they see our attitudes, that very early young they acquire, they get model us. And so we have to begin from us.
Okay, that's right.
I'm sorry. Also, if there is gender discrimination in textbooks, it's an opportunity to discuss with our students whose role is why this discrimination is put in the textbooks. What's the real one? What we are one for, gender? Is it true or not? It's a questionable situation, opportunity for us. And before coming class, we search textbooks and maybe get some questions for students. Discussion. We make discussion groups and talk about the issues. Every picture, every word, every problem that in the textbooks.
Okay, that's a really relate in our life, daily life. And now, okay, questions from Aisyah Durotun Nafisa. What are the rights to education for children? Do men and women have the same right for education?
Okay,
Of
maybe
course,
Nafis, sorry, maybe Nafis, you want to ask your questions directly to
With
Professor
Raisen.
Naciye.
You
have already raised hand, so maybe this is your opportunity to ask your questions directly to Professor Naciye.
Ayune. Mr. Nasi.
Okay. I think there's a problem with the voice. I'm so sorry. I can hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, maybe you can speak louder, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Naciye, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What are the rights to education for children? Do men and women have the same right to education? And do you have an ID children perception of education from your study result? Thank you.
Okay, maybe let me clear
Okay.
what the questions. She is asking about do you have an idea about how children's perceptions about educations? Maybe from your study result, have you asked your participants what their perceptions about educations? Maybe men can have a higher education than women, maybe something like that.
Actually, we didn't ask such a questions to our children, but one of my students' master thesis, we, searched the fourth graders' ideas about their rights, and they said, yeah, we are education rights, play rights, nutrition rights. They said their, education rights indirectly. But I'm not sure about the questions, context. But in our last research, didn't include the what kind of rights they have. We didn't mean it.
Okay, thank
but
you.
I have other theses. I supervise other theses. For example, in math classes, how teacher behave for girls and boys, and we found in that doctoral thesis that the teachers are unconsciously behave sexist or indiscriminative. They say that we get their sentence. Actually, when we ask to teachers how are you equal for boys and gender, they say always yes, I am equal. But in practice, we observe them. But there is, inequality from the perspective of teacher behaviors. They say girls can be, clever if they study more, if they work more. The correct sentence is that girls also can be clever. It may also, the word also shows us the inequality of teacher behaviors.
That's
like
correct.
this.
That's correct.
I hope I answered the question. I'm so sorry.
Yes, you have already answered the questions, because I understand that in your research you didn't ask about what children perception about educations. Maybe boy have the rights to have a higher education than girls, or maybe girls have the rights to have a higher education than boys.
No. Actually, we were more concrete, at the fourth graders, but the students do not aware higher education, universities, and actually they ask me what is professor means, then we ask very concrete questions, sculptures, doctors,
okay.
and nursery school teachers, something like that.
So it is about professions, something like that. I understand now that when we try to involve children as a participant, then we have to provide like a concrete situations. Yeah.
Sure.
In a yeah, because
abstract.
education is
not
very
in an abstract.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of abstract. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, one questions more. Budi Rahman, maybe you can ask directly to Prof. Naciye. Are you here with us, Mas Budi Rahman? Okay.
Hello.
Okay. I think you have to
Unmute
yes.
and
To
fix your
unmute.
glasses
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Wulan atau Ibu Yuli mungkin bisa bantu, Mak.
Oke. Wulan boleh dibaca aja.
Disampaikan dulu dalam bahasa Indonesia, nanti biar di-translate Bu Yuli.
Oke, boleh dibaca dulu, Wulan nggak
Ya,
apa-apa.
sampaikan dulu. Bahasa
Mau
Indonesia.
ask in bahasa, that's
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, Prof. Naciye. In the world of early childhood education, gender issues are endless. In preschool, children are influenced by many female teachers without realizing it, both in attitude, speech, and other. We cannot do much, especially in Indonesia as a country with a fatherless country. What can we do, Prof. Naciye? Okay.
Actually, I think in another question I answered this. As a teacher, the same situation is true for Turkey. We are affected by religion, culture, and political ideology also. Right now, very Islamic ideology is ruling the country. But we have to struggle, when we talk about in very young ages, when we talk about, occupations, when we do activities, we always, equal, we always show equal, attitudes toward our students, talk about situations. I don't know the, special context of Indonesia, but we have to struggle as a teachers in every context of education. We have to struggle. I'm not sure. Maybe it is not insecure. It is not secure for you, but if we don't struggle for gender equality, how can we reach a equal world for women and men?
Okay, maybe I would like to add more questions. In his quiz. Yeah, wait. I have to open first. What's exactly the questions? Okay.
So many female teachers.
He's telling that in Indonesia, especially in early childhood educations, is dominated by female teachers. So
same
I
as
think,
true in Turkey.
Also, yeah, I think it's like a general situations in the world. Yeah. So I think he stated that so it will be hard for us as a teachers to treat children appropriately, because the teachers dominates by females. So how maybe there are no men teachers there. So maybe you have your opinion about this.
This is a big issue. I mean, in the world, also in Turkey, in Indonesia, it's a political, decision. Maybe our in a state level, our governments, have to struggle for the situation. We have to encourage our children, boys, to get a job in nursery schools, and it's a political issue. It's maybe then also cultural issue. We, as an educators and researchers, we talk with families and it's a good job and to be a nursery school teachers, and men have to be there to be an equal role model between men and women. I think it's a big ideology. We also have to struggle with that ideology by maybe as a group, as a a community. It's really needs a struggle.
Oke, thank you. Sudah cukup belum, Budi? Sudah cukup menjawab belum? Situasinya sama nih di sana dan di sini begitu. Ya, memang kalau di early childhood kebanyakan gurunya juga perempuan karena mungkin tadi ya political issues gitu ya. Juga tadi culture issues tadi laki-laki memang harus di tempat yang lebih ini ya higher. Level ya. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Professor Naciye. I think he already understand what your explanations.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any questions from the participant?
Oke, boleh tanya dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Kalau takut nggak apa-apa, ada Wulan nanti bisa bantuin translate juga, gitu ya.
Yeah.
Silakan. I'm sure that I think there are a lot of questions in their mind, but maybe they are afraid how to ask in English correctly.
I can understand. I had the same, excitement. If we talk other than mother language, it's okay. I mean.
Oke, ya boleh bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia teman-teman. Ini kebetulan ada mahasiswa pas S2 juga, ada S1 juga ya, dari PAUD, dari PGS, dari Dikdas ya.
Dari Dikdas. Boleh.
Silakan.
Oke. Masih ada waktu untuk bertanya.
Ada yang private message lagi nggak, Wulas? Barangkali ngirim private message gitu.
Itu tadi only Sri Suryaningsih. Okay.
Okay, maybe if there's no questions anymore, I think we can end this webinar. Maybe Professor Naciye, we need your closing statement, maybe. Do you mind?
Okay. Dr. Yuli and Aziza and the University of, let me say, Negeri Semarang.
Yes,
Semarang.
that's correct.
Thank you very much again for inviting me to this meeting, as I said before. And thanks to technology that I was in Indonesia this morning, and you are in Turkey also.
Yes.
I wish,
sorry, Prof. Sorry, Prof. Naciye is still have a questions from Sri Wulan.
Okay.
Message to me.
All right.
Okay. She questions that there are many psychologists said that between boys and girls, sometimes boys is more likely to study about reading and counting than girls. So it means girls is more clever to reading and counting. And the question is how opinion the teachers in Turkey about that one?
The same things is, we read same research results in Turkey too, but I am not sure about it. Actually, we know that the theories explains that girls get reading skills and speaking skills earlier than boys, but in math and other sciences, when we getting older, we exposed to discourses and behaviors, sexist behaviors and discourses, then we acquire these courses and behaviors, attitudes, and then our success differs in late age. We determine that boys are successful at math, and then girls are successful at reading and writing. I don't believe it. And girls in the world, women are always invisible in every country. Scientists, when I say imagine a scientist, my students imagine a man scientist, not a woman scientist. Women are invisible. So since women are invisible, we think that women are not that good at sciences. It's not correct. There are lots of women scientists, mathematicians, also astronauts, but we only know male astronauts and male doctors and male scientists. Is not correct. Women also construct this world, but as a secondary role. We live in a patriarchal, world, so why women are invisible. So as a last word, we have the struggle. And can women or females can be astronaut, doctors, mathematicians if we give them an opportunity, but equal opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Maybe Prof. Naciye can have sorry for cutting your statement.
No, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I was telling that thank you very much to announcing me and Dr. Aziza for moderating the speech, to Dr. Yuli and the Universities Negeri Semarang for inviting me, and thanks to technology, we were in Turkey and we were in Indonesia. I wish a better and equal world to every woman, every girl, every boy, and men in the world. And thank you very much for listening me and for your patience.
Thank you very much, Professor Naciye, for
so
your
much.
coming.
Thank you. I'm so it's my honor. It's my honor. Thank you.
I noticed that there are a lot of your college join this webinar, right?
Really, when I am talking, I couldn't check from chat box. Yeah,
okay.
I see my colleagues and students.
Maybe
some of them are.
Maybe this time to all of you from Turkey, you can say hello to us. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I think there's Ulku. How to pronounce Ulku Koban Sura? I don't know if it is correct or not.
Yeah, Ülkü Çoban Sural is my doctoral students and my colleague also.
Okay.
We did our research together as announced her name, and also I have another colleague, also my doctoral students. She finished her dissertation, and now as an associate professor, she works another part of the Turkey. Özge Nurlu Üstün and Ülkü. Ülkü Çoban Sural also did a master thesis about children's rights.
That's great. Yes. Nice to meet you, Ulku.
Urku.
I think she has a problem with the
That's
microphone.
correct. Ülkü.
Urku.
Someone said that hopefully we can meet another place somewhere in some time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all of you who already joined this webinar. Maybe we can see you in the next time, in the other opportunity, in the other webinar. Okay,
Thank you very
maybe,
much giving me this opportunity to me.
Thank you very much. Wulan, back to you. Maybe you can close the webinar.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am
Have a
Yuli.
nice day. Have a good afternoon, right?
Yes.
It's 3
Yes,
o'clock or
already afternoon
3:30
here.
afternoon. Okay.
Mhm.
Have a nice day.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming closer to the end of this seminar. Now, allow me, Prof. Naciye, to conclude this discussions. I think that the educational system have a best impact for break down the gender stereotype and make some equality for men and women. Then there are so many resources available by online for teachings about gender stereotype, like Prof. Naciye explained before, using textbook, children literatures, programs book, teacher behavior, space, and activities. And we have to some effort that should be made to eliminate all kind of sexist items and practices from the content and functioning of education, like I already told about that. And steps should be taken to increase the awareness of families and society also in general about gender equality. I think that's all from me. And before we close this occasion, I would like to deliver several announcements for participants. Certificate will be sent after participant fill out the attendance that already provided by the committee. You can fill the attendance list via in chat room. And that's now the last from me. Thank you so much for Prof. Naciye.
Thank
It's
you.
really
Thank you.
insightful.
Thank you. It's
Thank
my
you.
honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a
Thank
ladies
nice
you
and
very
day.
much,
gentlemen.
Professor
Bye.
Naciye.
Thank you
Maybe
so much. Ladies and
Good to see you.
gentlemen, we
Bye-bye.
believe that
Take care, all of
opportunities
you.
take care.
should
Yeah.
be met, change should be pursued by the completion of this program. We all hope that you all have gained insightful and enlightening experience. Enjoy your day and see you next time